Do you struggle with jealousy issues in your relationship? Episode number 200. Yes, I said 200 to making the case. We're talking about it. If someone does this, they might have just ruined your relationship with their jealousy. Let's get into it. Hey, what up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Making a Case. We on episode number 200. I'm going to get back to that in a little bit, but I am your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points and not people, and then two, we don't do all that cussing and fussing, that derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. Yes, I said episode number 200. Now, I was going to do something real crazy and real big for episode number 200, but I said, you know what? I'm not doing that. We're not celebrating until I get that plaque behind me, until I get that silver, gray, whatever color plaque behind me for my subscriber and my views. Okay. So do me a favor. Help us get this plaque behind there, and then we're gonna celebrate, man. We'll give out some prizes and all that stuff, man. Help us get that plaque. All right. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, comment, share the video, man. It really helps the channel out. All right. But let's get into it. So we're talking about in episode number 200, we're talking about jealousy in a relationship, right? And of course, we just have to be honest, right? There's levels to jealousy. Okay. We're all jealous to some degree, as you should be, particularly if you're in a relationship, right? Like, I remember being in a relationship, and if I felt like a man stared at my woman too long, or talked to her too long, or smiled at her in a certain way, I was like, man, what are they talking about? Right. So there was a hint of jealousy, right? But I ain't the person to go over there and be like, what y'all talking about? What you talking about, Willis? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself, right? So there is going to be a modicum of jealousy in your relationship if you really like somebody, that is. Okay. We're not talking about that jealousy. We're talking about the jealousy that have you insecure. We're talking about the jealousy that have you going through phones. We're talking about the jealousy that have you pulling up on people, right? Which kind of goes over the top, right? And of course, those type of actions and insecurity can really hamper a relationship, and of course, end one. All right. So, what is the good medium for jealousy, or just making sure that things are even keeled? Well, I mean, trust is going to be a huge thing, right? You have to be able to trust your partner, but even if you have the utmost trust in your partner, there's always going to be just a little bit of jealousy, right? Because we all like attention. We all want our partner's attention and affection when we want it. So if we feel like that person, our person, is giving it to somebody else, then that can be when some jealousy creeps in. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about when jealousy goes just a little bit too far. All right. So go get your popcorn. All right, sit down, put it on the big screen, and let's have a conversation. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the first clip.
These kind of myths that are just floating about. And one of the big ones is, I want to get your take on this. Should the person you're dating or seeing feel jealous when you get attention? Is that a sign of love?
My instinct is say no, 100% no.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think, to be honest with you, there's a level of insecurity there. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think when we love someone, there may be at least some part of us, right, that's going to have an eye open to all this attention you're getting.
For sure.
I think that's natural.
For sure.
But to be bothered by it usually speaks to you not having a sureness in yourself. All right.
So and in the relationship.
And in the relationship, exact that, and that's such a key. So I'm gonna give a quick story because I think this lines up perfectly. I once had a man, he came to me, he was having a problem in his marriage, and his issue was his wife had this male best friend who she was showing all this attention to. Okay. And he was like, they would be arguing about this friend, and she just doesn't want to let go of this friend and all these things. And I said, well, listen, trying to argue against her friend when she's saying it's platonic, there's nothing there, you have nothing to worry about, is a very difficult battle. Let me ask you, what's the quality of the relationship? And he's like, oh, well, it's not that great. We got some issues. I said, okay, before we worry about this friend, let's focus on solidifying the relationship. Yeah. All right. Let's make that strong. Let's make that good. And then see what happens. He hit me up, I want to say like 3-4 months later. He said, man, your advice worked perfectly.
Oh, I love that.
By him shifting his focus to the relationship quality and fixing everything in there, the issue with the friend completely disappeared. She naturally was not showing the friend any more attention like she was anymore. Just everything fell into place. So going back to your point about jealousy, yes, I feel people aren't being honest with themselves that they do not feel secure in their relationship for various reasons. And this attention that your partner is getting is a threat to you. It is a threat that, well, what if they like it so much they take someone up on their offer? All right. But if you really felt good about yourself in this relationship, you're just not going to worry about it. And I think also it goes to a level of, I'm going to use the word evolving in life and understanding that you cannot control everything. So to me, I just feel like, and I have a feeling you're probably the same exact way. I'm not going to be worried about this attention you're getting, because at the end of the day, if you're going to do something wrong, you're going to do it wrong. Me trying to police you, it's a waste of my energy. It is too stressful. I don't want that life. All right.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Now, if you do something you're not supposed to do, you will pay a consequence. I will let you go.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and check on this and watch this, or you can't go here. Man, do what makes you happy. Enjoy yourself.
There's so many of these
All right,
kind of
I didn't realize that clip was so long, but it's a couple things that I want to touch. For the most part, I agree because I rock with Stefan's speech, right? But the whole point about the male friend, now I've already done probably 2-3 videos on platonic friendships between men and women, right? If you've been watching me, you should know my stance. I don't think that most of them can actually survive, right? Particularly if you're talking about a marriage. The fact that your woman will be giving another male this attention and stuff like that, I think is problematic. I'm not saying that his advice to him wasn't great, because it probably was something lacking in their relationship. And it seemed like, they fixed it. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to go that direction. But the direction I do want to go in is the fact that they was talking about attention when it comes to jealousy. That's a whole nother subject when it comes to jealousy, because what type of attention, and are you putting yourself in a position where you're trying to gain this attention? See, those are the little details they left out, right? See, women are going to naturally get attention, right? Not that men don't, it's just that women get more attention, right? So is that woman putting herself in a position where she's wearing less clothing, or she's always on social media, always posting selfies and things like of that nature, right? Is she putting herself in a position in a relationship to make a man feel uncomfortable where he may get jealous, right? That's the nuance of the conversation that we got to have, right? We can't just say flat out attention, right? Because if she getting attention when it comes to her job and she's moving up the career ladder and stuff like that, that's a whole different conversation and ball game, right? So they have to actually clarify what do they mean about attention, which they didn't do, which I get it though. All right, let's get into our next clip.
Manage jealousy?
The first thing I think you probably want to think through is, you want a partner that no one else wants?
Definitely not.
Well, but you actually have to think that through, because the answer could easily be yes. Like, husbands will punish their wives out of dressing attractive. They do that all the time. And then they're all bitchy because their wives, she really let herself go. It's like, well, that's because you punished her mercilessly every time she looked like any man might take a second glance at her, you stupid bastard. And you did that because you're unconscious and jealous. And now you're resentful because your wife listened to you. It's a pretty stupid strategy. So you have to think, like, do you want a partner that other people would find attractive? And there's a possibility that the answer to that is no. And the reason is because you're insecure, and perhaps for valid reasons, about whether or not you're actually much of a catch. And so then maybe you should do some sorting out about that.
How should people manage jealousy?
Now, Dr. Pearson, I respect you, brother, but come on now. Like, that's some placations if I've ever seen before, right? So a woman can dress attractive, even be sexy, but not be provocative and not be, we know, whorish. Let's just say, right? So come on, we got to stop that, right? It's a certain way that you should dress when you're in a relationship, right? No different than should the man be staying out all types of hours of the night if he's in a relationship like he did when he's single? No. So we understand that once you get in a relationship, there are things that's going to change, right? So having this conversation about what a woman wears and what she can't wear, it's just nonsense, right? Because there's going to be certain things a man is going to do and don't do when he in a relationship. That is the sacrifice of being in a relationship. If you don't want to sacrifice, don't get in a relationship. It's just that simple. But most of us do. Okay. So it's not the jealousy of, oh, somebody is looking at my partner, somebody want my partner. No, we all want to be with somebody that other people want, right? It's the idea of that, going back to that first clip, right? Do you really want this attention? Are you seeking this attention? You're going to get attention regardless. Just like there's going to be bad days, right? You don't got to seek out good and bad days. They're going to come, right? You don't have to seek out attention with what you wear or what you do, right? Or what you say. Attention is going to come to you naturally, right? So just be yourself. So the jealousy, I think, parts come in where people are like, all right, you doing too much, right? Like it's something out there. Do you really want to be out here? Do you want to be single? Because that's how you moving and that's how you talking. I think that's a part where the jealousy come in. Now, I'm not saying that there's not men out there like, oh, you can't wear that and stuff like that. Not saying that. But for the most of us, we just want you to be respectful of the relationship. That's all. All right. We're going to do one more clip and we're going to wrap this episode up.
And that is that I'm going to get you over any jealousy issues you have in the next 3 minutes. Any jealousy that we have, whether it's big or small, on some level comes from comparison. We sit there and we compare ourselves to other people. If it's our partner and we get jealous of another guy or another girl muscling in or them spending time with someone, we get jealous because we compare ourselves on some level. We compare what we have to what they have. Jealousy only exists by comparison on some level. Now think about this for a moment. Someone can always beat you in one category. It doesn't matter who you are. You can think you're a good-looking person. If you're a guy, you can think you're good-looking, and then you find someone who's just as good-looking as you, but taller. And you're like, oh, I'm screwed. They got more than me. You could be a woman and you can think you're pretty, and then you find a woman who's prettier than you, or has the exact breasts that you want, or has the exact body type you want, and you suddenly feel insignificant again by comparison to that person. And therefore we get jealous, especially if you find your boyfriend talking to that person and giving that person attention. Now, jealousy comes from those moments where we feel inferior. And I'm going to show you how to avoid feeling inferior ever again. Someone once said to me, they literally gave me the most amazing compliment I'd ever had. They told me that I inspired them, I made them laugh, I was generous to them, I was great to be around, I was thoughtful, and I taught them things. Now, the reason that this was one of the most beautiful compliments someone had given me is because she showed me the full range of the things that I was able to bring to her life. It's no one category that makes me special to that person. We often worry about one idea, one look, or one physical feature, one idea of ourselves that makes us special to someone. And that's not what makes us special. Because let me tell you something, someone is always going to beat you in one category. There's always going to be someone more intelligent. There's always going to be someone that can teach other people more than you can teach them, that has more knowledge, that's better looking, that's taller, that has a better body shape by some arbitrary standard. There's always going to be someone who beats you in one or more categories.
And we're going to stop right there. The video going on for another minute and a half. But I thought that was great stuff. And he's absolutely right. So the main idea and reason why people are jealousy is we're always comparing ourselves, right? That's why it's so important to be secure and comfortable with who you are, right? Like, I love me. I don't have a six pack. I know a lot of guys do, but guess what? I still love my body, right? I ain't the most attractive man in the world, but guess what? I feel like I'm a sexy. I ain't gonna finish it, right? So, like, I believe in me. I trust in me. I love me, and I exude that, and I attract people, both men and women, right? So, and I think that's a big part. Once you're secure with yourself in a relationship, then and the other person is, it's much easier for the two of you to come together and be one and be in a successful relationship. But if it's one person that got self-doubt, that's insecure about a body part or something like this, like you said, there's always going to be somebody that's better than you or something, right? And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's just the truth, right? Every day the sun's going to come up. That doesn't offend you, though. So, like, I mean, somebody's going to have a higher SAT or ACT score. I don't think that offend you, right? So we got to take things into consideration, right? So if you're letting those little things about whether somebody is talking to somebody, whether somebody doing this or doing that, like creep into you, then it started being like, man, like maybe she want this person. Then you start questioning things, and that's typically what happens in a relationship when you start questioning yourself and questioning where things stand. That can end up being the nail in your coffin. All right. But hey, we're gonna end the video on that, man. Hopefully this video gave you some new perspectives, man. I thought it was a great conversation. Let me know what you think in the comment, man. Hey, this was a great way to start and end episode 200. We're gonna have 200, 400 more. Hey, let's get it. All right. So as always, I am you are me, love always, love return. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, and we out. Deuces, one love.